Okay, so continuing on water-based transportation. We really only got three categories that we're going to be talking about, and that's cruise ship, ferries, and inland waterways. So let's go. Here we go. So cruise ships, of course, we know that cruise ships are a big thing, right? So 34.6 million ocean-going cruise passengers worldwide in 2024. Um, they expected 37.7 in 25. I don't know if we met that or not. 42 million by 2028. That's a big increase. The Caribbean accounts for 44% of all cruises. That's by far the largest. Then the Mediterranean comes up with 17%, and then Northern Europe comes up with 9. Now, and then the rest is made up for wherever. The average cruise length is 7.2 days. Some other interesting numbers. Let's see. Your average age of a cruise passenger is 46.5 years old. 36% are under 40. 60% are Gen X or younger, right? So uh, we don't see a lot of I mean, this is still 33%, but there's not a lot. It's made up of a lot of younger people, so that's a good thing. And well, it's an interesting thing anyway. So that's cruise ships. Big business. Good opportunity for a career if you choose to do that. All right. So ferries. Before I put up any information, I wanted to just leave this map up here. This is a map of kind of a bridge one, but just the major routes, not all the little ones, but of Europe with all of the ferry routes. I mean, that's some massive ferry routes. All right, we're not talking a ferry. It's not just a puddle jumper across a river. There's some massive ones across the English Channel. From Rome to Madrid, a lot of ferries. All right, we have a lot in the United States, but they're much at a bigger scale in Europe. All right, so let's move forward here. Let's talk about ferries. Um, we're getting classified by vessel types. We have conventionals, which is a boat, right? People get on the boat. What makes it a ferry is its service. It goes from point A to point B, back to point A, back to point B. Lots of ferries in certain parts of the country or world. Then you have hybrids, which would be pretty much conventional boats, but as the power plants are going to have electrical and diesel or whatever, and then you have full electric ones, and then you have ones that are called the roll packs. That's the ones that you roll in, roll off. So the boat will go this way to a ferry terminal. People will drive on, then it goes to the other ferry terminal, and they'll drive off. Kind of fun, kind of neat. I think the one in Southport is that kind of ferry. Then you have high speed crafts, which are hydrofoils and hovercrafts. Really neat. All right. And then let's talk about by service. You're going to have commuter service, which is just going across the river, going across the lake. The one going to Bald Head would be considered commuter. The one going from Fort Fisher to Southport, I would call that a commuter. Uh, and why would people commute? Why would they drive? Because uh, the ferry cuts a lot of linear distance. All right. Um, I lived on not Bald Head. I lived on an island in Lake Champlain, with a Grand Isle, Lake Champlain, and there was a causeway from Vermont to the island. But if I wanted to go to New York, I either had to go all the way off the island, all the way around the lake, and then go to Plattsburgh, or I could get on a ferry and a 30-minute ferry ride and be right there. So it's ferries. If you don't live in a place where ferries are prominent, you think that there's just a kind of fun thing to do from time to time. Sometimes they cut a lot of commuter time. All right, or the only way to get there, like in Bald Head. All right. So we also have long distance ones, vehicle transport. We talked about that. cargo, mixed cargo with people and cargo, and then high-speed passenger only. All right, so that's your ferries. Why do we care about that? Because in some places where people will go and take you know take their vacations, ferries are a big part of it. All right, and some ferries are nothing but vacation ferries, just like a cruise ship, but more in a ferry kind of operation. Okay, and then we have inland waterways, lakes, rivers, canals. You'll have a lot in Europe, and even in the United States, you'll see a lot of tourism with river. I mean, just here in Wilmington, Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, I was out on a boat doing a little tour. But some of these are pretty elaborate, okay? And you'll see them a lot in Europe and other places. Okay. Oh, what? I went the back way. I went the wrong way. Okay. So that's pretty much it. The last thing I want to talk about is just managing land and surface transportation. The key thing is sustainability. You're going to see a lot more of these green powered buses, different types of power and stuff like that's going to be figured out eventually. It has to be, right? But certainly the global trend is to be much more sustainable. However, we do things in the United States, if we have clients that are going overseas, we have to prepare them for, not so much prepare them for, but sort of, I guess, let them know that there's these concerns over there, and they will dictate certain choices that they have to make. All right, that's it. It wasn't as short as I like it to be, but it was kind of short. So I will see you in the discussion this week.